In 2023, did you sign a bill to gut the state auditor's ability to hold you and the state government accountable? Yes or no?
A bill was signed to restrict the,
I'll
address
take that as a yes.
Yes.
That brief clip is Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds, the current governor of Iowa, and it kind of symbolizes the whole Kim Reynolds regime of the Iowa. Okay, so she's currently on her farewell tour. Okay, so she's been going around the state and the country talking about how awesome her time in office has been. You know, I don't know if you know this, but Iowa's been governed by Republicans by 10 years, like me here in Missouri. They've had single party rule all over the state, except one office, which is key. And Kim Reynolds wants you to believe that it's been freaking flowers and roses and golden and sunshine. But the fact is that Kim Reynolds herself is the most unpopular governor in the country for 7 quarters in a row now. Iowa's economy is ranked 49th in the country. It's the 48th for personal income growth, number 1 for cancer growth. It's 50th for economic growth, but you wouldn't believe that when you hear the Republicans of Iowa tell you that story. But that is the truth of so much right now. But here's the good news. Like my home state of Missouri, people like to write us off, right? Let's face it. Oh, it's Midwest. There's no chance of change. But here's the golden thing about Iowa right now. They've been electing a state auditor who's a Democrat 2 times in a row now. And he's pretty darn popular. And you probably have seen his ads because Rob Sand started his career in the service a while ago. He's a native son of Iowa. He grew up rural, but he started off as an assistant Iowa attorney general and the Iowa's chief public corruption prosecutor. So he's got some chops. And on top of that, now he's been the elected auditor in a state ruled by the other party for 8 years now. And so he just announced he's running for, well, last year he announced he's running for governor and he's taken off, y'all. So I've been pretty excited. I'm a fan. You guys know I do this because I get to meet cool people, right? So I'm a big fan of Rob Sand. I finally got him to come into the hot seat. So let's get on. I'm Fred Wellman, host of On Democracy with FP Wellman, right here in the MeidasTouch. This is In the Hot Seat with Rob Sand. Let's bring him on. Rob, man. Hey, welcome to MeidasTouch. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You know, Kim Reynolds, you know, I always laughed about her because, you know, she always had like the MAGA sequin jackets. And I mean, it's almost a little comical sometimes, you know, and now you've got a crowded field on the Republican side. They can't decide what direction they want to go, but it is like Missouri. I remember when you started running, I was like, oh, okay, here's one of my people, a Democrat who stands by his values. You don't try to be Republican light, right? You are who you are. You're a good man of Iowa. You're rural. You're a Christian. You are who you are, and you're stepping up to run for statewide office, and you're doing pretty well. I mean, I guess the big question is, why are you running for governor of Iowa right now?
You know, that clip, you sort of said it right in your start there. In our launch video last May, kind of did numbers on social media for the same reason. It's just me talking to the camera for a minute saying, you know, here we are 50th for economic growth. Our average for personal income growth for the last 3 years is 48th. We're number 1 for cancer growth. And then in the Capitol building in Des Moines, they're figuring out, hey, how can we take the power away from the state auditor's office to hold us accountable when we're misspending money? Like, right. You are doing such a terrible job. And yet your focus, where you're putting your time, isn't into improving the lives of Iowans. It's not into growing the economy or fighting on rising costs or improving healthcare. It's literally like, hey, that state auditor is doing too good of a job of holding us accountable. How can we stop him? Yeah. Like, and to your point about my faith, like this always makes me think of that story of Jesus flipping over the tables of the money changers at the temple. People in a position of trust and power who are abusing that trust and power to further their own ends. They don't care about the people they're supposed to serve. I've had enough. And I think most Iowans have too.
And let's talk about that. This morning, CNN had a new poll showing it's the economy, stupid. I mean, I hate to give James Carville more love than he deserves, but, you know, it is the economy. 54% of Americans believe the economy is in trouble. Independents, 34% of independents believe the economy is not going in the right direction. You know, you are number 1 a priority. I've seen everywhere. Every time I've seen you open your mouth, just now, again, is we got to grow the economy of Iowa. There's so much potential. Iowa's a great state, like Missouri. You know, I mean, how are you going to grow that economy? What is that? I know it's your number 1 choice. That's what you're hearing on the road, isn't it? It is really the economy. People can't afford to live, can they?
Yeah, that in education. I mean, Iowa had one of those school vouchers bills passed, and honestly, Fred, the lack of accountability in that program is astonishing. Yeah. Private schools now can take public money while rejecting any particular member of the public that they don't want to have in their schools. And there's only one thing on God's green earth that they can't do with the money. They can't pay a rebate. That's it. So anything else they want to do, they want to buy booze, they want to fly to France, whatever, that would be fine for a private school to do with public money in the state of Iowa. So we did 100 public town halls last year, opened up the doors. Everybody was welcome. 30% of the people coming in weren't Democrats. That was the number one issue that we had questions about. But when it comes to economic growth, I mean, there's a couple of pretty simple things to do here. We haven't raised our minimum wage forever. We should raise the minimum wage. We are still looking at people who use marijuana and saying we want to throw you in prison for doing that. We should treat it the way we treat alcohol. That would give our economy a very good boost and our state budget a good boost, which helps because we have a $1.2 billion budget deficit right now. Absolutely bonkers. Yeah.
Wow.
And for a sense of scale, I mean, the annual state budget is about $9 billion. So it's a huge piece of the budget right now. So
Yeah.
that would help our economy. Those things would help our economy. And we haven't been friendly to workers for the last 10 years. I mean, it's been 10 years of one-party control, and pretty much every opportunity that the legislature's had, they've made it harder for working people in the state of Iowa.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? They're cutting taxes. I think Kim Reynolds was touting that Iowa's #1 in cutting taxes. Great, but you've got a $1.2 billion hole in your budget. It's like, okay, like you're going to cut your way to success, right? It's the constant Republican story. We hear it in Missouri too. It's like, oh, we're just going to keep cutting, and that's not how it works. No business on earth, yeah, right?
Yeah.
No business on earth.
The wealthiest people in the state pay a lot less in taxes, and we promise that someday you'll get some of that money too.
Right. As the rich get richer. And that does go back. I want to circle back to public education. It's a passion project for me. I'm a product of Kirkwood Public Schools. You are too, of your public schools are the basis of an economy. It goes right into it. Private schools are not the basis for our economy. It's not putting money. It is truly a public school thing. And how can you seize that back? How can you seize the initiative of public schools again?
Well, I think a piece of this is talking about this program and just how unaccountable it is. And I'm also, Fred, I'm big on honesty. In fact, my favorite interaction in this entire campaign was a guy who came up to me at the state fair last year from Knoxville, Iowa, said, "I'm from Knoxville. I'm a farmer in Marion County and I'm a Republican, but I'm going to vote for you because you're dumb enough to be honest."
I love that.
I'll take it. And so when I talk to people about education, I remind them, look, we got Republican majorities in the Iowa legislature. They're big majorities.
Yeah.
If I get elected, I'm going to be working with those Republican majorities. So I don't run around saying we're going to this and we're going to that, because I'm not going to give people a wish list of things that I don't think, practically speaking, I can deliver on. I'm going to level with everybody. What I want to do with this program is get us to the point where we have real accountability in it. And I want to make an argument that I think can appeal to everybody in this state who has their head screwed on straight, and so that the people who are in the legislature can go, okay, fair enough. You're right. Those are reasonable things. We should have income limits. When we have a $1.2 billion budget deficit, we shouldn't be giving private school tuition to the wealthiest families in the state of Iowa. That doesn't make any sense.
Right.
If you want to have this for poorest kids to actually promote school choice, that's a different question. Number two, it shouldn't be that private schools can just hike their tuition up by another $7,500, leaving it equally as unaffordable as it was before.
For the rest of us.
Right. And then we have to have accountability. If something is going to get you in trouble as a public school, if you spend money on it, the same thing should apply to any public dollars getting spent by a private school.
Yeah.
Those are things that I think the vast majority of Iowans can agree upon, that we could, if I win this race, the Republican legislature would be hard pressed to find some reason to oppose those things.
Right.
And if they
Because
don't,
it is.
then we'll have a different conversation about where we go from there. But I think they'd be smart enough to go, yeah, okay, all right. Those are fair points. We didn't think about them. They can say that if they need to. Oh, we didn't think about that when we passed the bill. But yeah, we should make that adjustment.
I love it. Now, you mentioned briefly, the number, I said it too, #1 for cancer growth, #1. I mean, it sounds like, you've got a very rural state like my state. There's a healthcare crisis. I'm hearing healthcare crisis. And we know that nationally we have a healthcare crisis. ACAs, subsidies being stopped, Medicaid's under attack. That's the state level. I mean, you've said very clearly in your priorities that you want Iowans to live better lives, healthier lives. And that starts with a healthcare network that works, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing a dwindling number of counties in the state of Iowa where you can deliver a baby. There are vast stretches of the state where there's no one who's an obstetrician. And then we look at the big, beautiful bill, and the folks who voted for it like to run around and say, we added $50 billion in spending for rural hospitals. It's like, okay, I'm the auditor. You actually cut 180 billion. So when you added the 50, you're still at a net, you cut $130 billion for rural hospitals. But Fred, these people run around like the ninth commandment doesn't exist.
Right.
You're just willing to say things that are obviously misleading and lies because they are desperate to win. And they think for some reason that those rules that were laid out that long ago that they're in the Bible, for some reason, they think they don't apply to politicians.
Right. And they're going to tell you, well, it's just a different angle on it, and you and I know.
Well, if your spin is basically completely misleading to people, maybe you shouldn't vote for the bill so that you could just be honest with people about it. One of the things I want to do, Fred, is I want to require annual town halls for people who are elected to office.
Wow.
I have always, since 2019, my first year after getting sworn in, after I won in 2018, I've done 100 public town halls every single year, every county seat in the state of Iowa.
Wow.
I believe that people who are elected to federal office and to legislative seats and to statewide office will actually do fewer obviously bad things if they know I'm going to have to go do town halls where I told people 2 weeks in advance, date, time, location. And because I'm going to have to go face these people, I'm not going to vote for this because it is really bad and they'll be mad at me. And when I see their tears, I will then feel bad about myself, and I don't want to do that, right? Like we should require that. This is the performance review. Most people have to do it in their job, sit down with your boss and have them tell you how you're doing well and how you're not. I do that. Everybody should have to do that. It should be a requirement. If you don't want to do that, then don't run. That's fine. This isn't the job for you.
I love it. It's called representation, right? And it does feel like so many of our elected officials, they get elected, they don't want to be, they forget who actually elected them. And I say a lot, and I know you're saying, I'm sure you say it a lot, is I'm supposed to represent everybody in the state, right? The job you're running for and the job you've had, by the way, since 2019 represents there. It's not partisan, it's not party, it's not rich or poor. It's the Constitution. I'm sure your state constitution is very clear what your job is. It isn't, will represent the Democratic Party or represent the Republican Party.
Thank you. Like our campaign slogan, the tagline is Governor for All. But the campaign slogan, Fred, is not redder or bluer, but better and truer. I mean, I'm sick of the partisanship. I can't stand the two-choice system. I think people should have more options on their ballot. But a big piece of this is recognizing that solving problems like a mental health crisis or an education crisis or an economic crisis or a water quality crisis, they're complicated. There are some simple fixes, but a lot of it is in the details. And boy, learning is hard, and getting people around a table and getting them to agree on a thing is hard. But the system tells all these candidates and elected officials, hey, as long as you can convince everybody you're the lesser of two evils, then you can get reelected anyway, and you don't have to worry about solving problems.
Yep. Yeah. And when you got a good majority, you don't need to worry about appealing to the opposite party at all. You can just run against fellow people in your same party like they are right now. Well, Rob, I could go this conversation all day, but we're supposed to keep them short. Most important question I ask every candidate that joins in the hot seat on Democracy: where can the Meidas Mighty find you? Where can they kick in a couple of bucks? Where can they help you win this seat?
Thanks, Fred. Robsand.com. Easy enough. ROBSAND.
Conveniently located right behind you. Super easy name. I'm jealous, But it's great talking to you, Rod. Thanks for taking time for us. Good luck up there. I'll be watching because, like I said, I'm just down the road. So if you ever need anything, I'm right down here in St. Louis. I'm happy to help in any way. But keep up the good fight, brother. We really appreciate your time.
That.
Thanks for joining us. See ya. Man, what a great conversation. Rob is, I've been watching this campaign since launch because actually I'm in the neighboring state right down the road, right? And it is so important when you see a candidate like Rob who's won statewide office in a red state that tells a lot about who they are and what they stand for. And those are the candidates we want. Remember, we want candidates who can win in the district or the state or the part of the country they're running in. Rob Sand's got all of that. So again, I'm Fred Wellman. This is In the Hot Seat with FP Wellman right here on the MeidasTouch Network. These are periodic shows. We'll be doing a lot more when we get close to the election. Of course, we have On Democracy with FP Wellman every Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern right here on the MeidasTouch Network, going live every week. I hope you'll watch it because we love having you come in. In the meantime, keep up the fight because you know what, folks? We're not done yet. Thanks for joining us.